everybody, and welcome to the Lyman Wolf Podcast. I am your host, Raistlin, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Nate. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I feel like we're going to be talking about video games today, right?
Yep. Our favorite franchises.
Yeah, this was your pick for the podcast, and you decided to go with our top 5 favorite video game franchises. What made you want to do this today, Nate?
I was looking back on some of the video games I've liked and noticed that most of them are pretty much from series I've played, so.
Yeah. On this podcast, we're not going to be talking about our favorite games. We're going to be focusing instead on the entire franchise. So, as a whole, why do you like them? Instead of being like, I like this game from that franchise, but the other ones are okay. No, we want the whole experience.
Yep.
So, since this was your pick, Nate, we're going to have you go first, but you said you had some honorable mentions that just missed the top 5?
Yes. Some of these are the same level of some of my top 5, but I didn't want to make this super long, so.
Okay, so go ahead.
Alright, so my honorable mentions are Dynasty Warriors.
Okay,
I've always loved that franchise.
Yeah, you've talked about that a bunch when we hang out.
Yeah, they're just super fun to play with people, or even by yourself. Just makes you feel like a god amongst men in battlefields.
The only experience I have of Dynasty Warrior type games is not even Dynasty Warriors. It's Hyrule Warriors, Persona Strikers, stuff like that. Like the knockoff Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, we played that One Piece version.
Yeah. Anime style.
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors.
But those types of games, they're just really fun to play. Like,
yeah. What's more fun than just destroying hordes of enemies?
Yeah, they're great steam blowers. Like, you get frustrated with something, play that game, your worries just melt away with the bodies of your enemies.
So what's the next one?
So then the next one would be Psychonauts. This is just a video game I love the franchise that I love the aesthetic of, the art style, the premise of it, being able to travel into people's minds and seeing how they perceive reality. So like one person just might be stuck in the 70s. Another person might be obsessed with milk. So like you go into their mind and they're a milkman.
Yeah, those games have been on my play later for such a long time because I have Xbox Game Pass. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, they're just really fun games. And I don't consider myself too much of a platformer.
Me neither. I'm terrible at platformers.
But this franchise, everything about it, even though I think it is considered a platformer, it doesn't feel like a platformer.
Okay.
And then Elder Scrolls.
Okay, so we got the franchise that's Skyrim. It's the only game I've played of Elder Scrolls.
I have played Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. I own Redfall and Arena, but I have not played them.
Here's a question. Out of Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, which is your favorite?
I'm going to go with probably Morrowind.
Really? The oldest one?
Yeah, because they had a whole DC based around being a werewolf.
Oh, come on, man. You can do that in Skyrim, though. You can literally be a werewolf.
No, you can. You can, and I do like that. But so in Skyrim, you have like a side quest where you join the fighters and you find out the fighters, like you become the werewolf. Like that's cool and all. Morrowind, literally, like they have a DLC dedicated to that. It's not just a side quest in the main game. It's a DLC dedicated to that. Kind of like how Skyrim has the DLC for vampires.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, so like, I just, due to my love of werewolves, that is the little bit that pushed, because other than that, all 3 of them are about equal to me gameplay-wise. I love all 3 of them. The stories of all 3 of them are amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've only played Skyrim, like I said, and Skyrim was like, I didn't put this on my list because I can't, like we said in the intro, I've only played Skyrim, so I can't put this as one of my favorite franchises because I've only played one game. But I put Skyrim like top tier games. Like it's
Yeah.
I've put the most hours into one of those games. I've put so many hours into Skyrim.
Well, yeah, like Bethesda games in general are just chef's kiss. Like as glitchy and hell as they are, there's a reason why people keep coming back to them, and it's because they're fun.
I would say some are fun. I'm not a fan of like the Fallout series or anything like that. That's just me personally though. I'm not a big fan of zombie games, but
I mean, Fallout's not a it has
it's a
zombies in it.
post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that style of games. It's just not my thing.
See, I am a massive fan of post-apocalyptic settings.
So what's your next one?
Then we got Saints Row.
Oh wow, that is way lower than I thought it was gonna be on your list.
Yeah, okay, so this is the thing. This is the honorable mentions thing where I'm like, these are tied with my top 5. This would be tied with either 5 or 4.
Dude, I thought this was gonna be like your number 2 pick. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, yeah, it's not, but only because, as much as I do love the franchise and everything, and but I love my top 5 more.
Okay.
But the Saints Row games, they are great games, especially if you're not too big of a fan of the seriousness that GTA takes itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, GTA has its funny moments.
Yeah,
but
like
it does
like
have
Trevor.
a more. Yeah. Exactly. Like it does have its more.
Best Trevor, the best protagonist in the entire franchise, right, Nate?
Yeah. Yeah. It has its darker storylines, whereas Saints Row, yeah, you're a criminal. You're like considered to be an asshole, but you're a funny asshole. Isn't
there an entire mission where you have to like
joking.
hunt? Isn't there an entire mission where you have to hunt down somebody with like a dildo as a weapon or something like that?
It's not a mission. It is. You can just get the weapon and just go around
dildoing people
things to people.
So what you got next?
And then Warcraft franchise.
Is this your last honorable mention?
Yes, this is the last honorable mention.
World of Warcraft is what you're saying?
Not just World of Warcraft, Warcraft in general. Is it
the same thing?
No. So Warcraft originally was an RTS, which is where I fell in love with the games.
RTS is what exactly again?
Real-time strategy games where you build your like castles and stuff and armies.
Gotcha.
I loved those games, and then I moved to World of Warcraft because of how much I loved those games.
Okay.
And I will admit, I practically sold my soul to Blizzard when World of Warcraft came out. I played almost nothing but that game for almost a decade.
Wow, you just basically wrote your signature on the dotted line for the devil and just handed it right to him.
Yes. But I love the lore of everything Warcraft. I've read the comics, I've read the books, I've played the games. The only reason it is not in my top 5 of this list is because I simply don't play them anymore.
You burn out. You get tired of it after a while.
Yeah. Plus, like, the expansions, I just didn't really get into as much. So
that makes sense.
So
I've had franchises where I loved like the first like 2 games, and then like they made a. I'll mention one. It's not on my list. I'll mention it later. But go ahead with your. You said that was your last one.
Yes, that is my last honorable mention.
All right, so I'll talk about my honorable mentions now. And for me, these are the ones that basically I have them in order. So unlike you, where they're like all tied for whatever, mine is basically like. This is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then we'll get to our top 5.
Okay.
So, my bottom one is the Far Cry series. I love the Far Cry series. I think the Far Cry series is super awesome. It's super underrated. And I've played 3, 4, 5, and Primal. I've not played 6. And I have not found a game I don't like. They're all amazing. Especially,
Yeah.
my favorite one is Far Cry 5. I love that game.
See, I played 1, 2, and 3,
I never played the first two.
and did not play the others.
Oh, you're missing out. Especially, Primal is, like, not what you expect. Primal is super fun.
Well, it's not like a conscious choice of me not playing them. It was more along the lines of other games were coming out around the same times, and I picked them.
Bro, I'm just telling you right now, for all Far Cry fans out there, if you haven't got to play some of the newer ones, almost all the games are on Game Pass. Besides, I don't think 6 is. But, yeah. So if you're interested in Far Cry, they're on Game Pass. Then we move on to the one I was mentioning earlier where the first 3 games were great, and then they started falling off really hard, and that is the Borderlands franchise. I was, as a teen and early 20s, obsessed with Borderland. Loved it. I loved the first one. The second one is like almost game of the year for like, I love that game. The second Borderlands, I probably put as much hours in as like Skyrim.
Damn.
I've replayed the game. I played all the DLC like a billion times. I've done every character. And then the pre-sequel was fun. And then that starts where before it falls off, Tales of the Borderlands, the Choices game, that was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Then Borderlands 3 came out. And that was the controversial one that many people didn't like, me included.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I played the first one, a little bit of the second one.
oh man, you need to flesh out the second one, dude. Especially
But
with all the DLC.
I do absolutely love the art style
of
all the Borderland games that I've seen, and really would like to try out that the new one, the
Wonderlands.
Wonderlands.
I own that game. It was the first thing I bought when I got my Xbox, and I only put like 5 hours into it, and then I started playing other games. So I need to go back and finish that.
I really want to try that one because I just love a fantasy setting, but this is like sort of not a fantasy. Like, I don't know, it just seems really interesting.
Yeah. So the next one I got is, I don't know if you count this as like if this should be on the franchise list because I've only played 3 of the games out of like 12 of them, but it's the Dragon Quest franchise. I love Dragon Quest 11 is my second favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time.
Understandable.
And I love that game. The stories in these Dragon Quest franchises are just so good. I love turn-based combat. I love the fantasy stuff. I love that the story is fleshed out to like 100+ hours. That's my type of game right there.
I played one of them, I think, on the Game Boy Advanced.
This must be one of the older ones then.
And I really liked it. I love the fact that you could like change your job in the middle of your game and all kinds of stuff. The customization was okay, but also
they're not great, but it's still, I don't care about customization like you do.
Yeah. Plus, it was also more of a lower res, so it wasn't really that noticeable.
Right. So then I got my favorite Mario franchise of all time, and that is the Paper Mario series.
Okay.
Paper Mario, I will play that over almost any regular Mario game. I'm super in the minority there, I understand that, but like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, one of my favorite GameCube games of all time. And then you got Super Paper Mario, the Origami King, the Wii U version, Splash, Color Splash. All those games are great.
I have never played a Paper Mario game. I'm not really that big of a Mario fan.
Me neither, and that's why I said I love the Paper Mario franchises because it's so different. And it gives like, instead of Mario just jumping on Goombas and getting to Bowser and saving the princess, Paper Mario fleshes out those characters like the Goombas and the Turtles and the Koopas and all that. They have personalities and they're part of the story because that's what it is. It's especially Thousand Year Door on the GameCube, which is my favorite. is a turn-based combat system where you have partners and party members and you flesh out a huge long story, and every like bad guy has like a personality and a motive and all of that, instead of it just being save the princess,
Yeah.
which is what I love about the franchise.
I think the last Mario game I played was like a Mario Party game.
That makes sense. That's a pretty popular
which-
franchise.
Yeah, I just like playing with friends, so.
Right. And then my last honorable mention is, no shock, Marvel's Ultimate Alliance. I've played every one of them, and I love every one of them.
I mean, it shocked to me because I didn't think it would be an honorable mention for you. I thought it would be on your actual list.
Yeah, well, you wait until you see my list, and it'll totally make sense.
This is my Saints Row for you. Like,
Right.
I figured this one would be on way higher.
I played the first one a crap ton. The second one is the one I didn't play the most of, but I put the most hours in the third one. Because the third one, there's just so much to do.
Okay.
I want
Yeah.
a fourth one so bad, and I have my own list of characters that I want added.
I like them. I like the style of them. I just got burnt out on them.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of the reason why I don't even look at them anymore, is because I just got, especially I did like one specific mission over and over.
Yeah,
and
that
over
they are extremely repetitive, and I understand that.
because of a certain someone.
I don't know who you're talking about. No, I don't know
yeah.
who that is. All right, so let's get to our top 5 now. We've finished up our honorable mentions. We spent like 15 minutes on them, so let's get to the top 5.
Okay. So my number 5
Okay,
is the Wasteland franchise.
you've mentioned those before. Isn't those like just like Fallout?
Yeah, so the original Wasteland video game, which I haven't played, I own it on Steam, and I think they had a remaster on Game Pass. It was before Fallout. It kind of inspired Fallout. So it's kind of like the granddaddy of Fallout.
Okay,
I
so
love.
it's the Fallout before the Fallout.
Yeah. But I played Fallout 2 and 3, and I am waiting desperately for a fourth one to come out.
But that's not Wastelands.
Yeah. No, it is. It's Wasteland.
But you just said the Wasteland and the Fallout are separate, right?
Yes. No, I'm talking about the Wasteland games. I'm not talking about Fallout.
Okay.
I played Wasteland 2 and 3, and I'm waiting for 4 to come out.
Oh, okay, I get you.
And I love those games because it does have some character customization, like at the beginning of the game, and then you can pick out like your abilities and your loadouts and stuff like that. It's very XCOM style, which is another franchise I do love, but is not on my list at all on this.
Surprisingly.
Because of like the way I love post-apocalyptic way more than I like straight up sci-fi. And that is what Wasteland is. Wasteland is the bombs have dropped. You are the remnants of like I believe you were supposed to be like the remnants of a military group, like a recon that decided to create their own law enforcement in the area that they now live in. Because the entire state that they are in, which I want to say is Arizona, not positive, it's been a while since I played them, is covered in nuclear waste and the fog. So if you try to leave Arizona, you die horribly.
Makes sense. Never leave Arizona, guys.
Exactly. Matter of fact, they legit think that they're the last humans on Earth because of it, until like you go. Like, there are other ways to get into other states, they find out. There are pathways through the fog.
Ooh.
Yeah, it opens up the possibilities for future games to go to other places.
See, I just can't get into games like post-apocalyptic games. They're just not interesting to me, man.
Oh, to me they are, because it's like you have the fall of civilization, and you're seeing people either giving into that fall and just going, buck wild, showing their true nature of being chaotic, evil, and whatnot, or you have people showing the true colors of being chaotic good, and like we need to try to keep order and help people, not fuck them over.
I feel like that doesn't happen much.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Sadly, the majority of it is, and that's kind of like again with the Wasteland franchise, is you're part of the group. Like we are the marshals. We will try to, or rangers. I'm sorry. We are the rangers. We will try to help people as much as we can, but we got to look out for ourselves as well. But almost everybody else you encounter is like, yeah, no, we're out for number one. Fuck all you. So,
I'm gonna kill you and steal your shit.
yeah, like, oh, that's a nice home you have. Let us attack you. Plus, there's something like that speaks to me with like post-apocalyptic technology, because like you can incorporate sci-fi stuff into it, and it just feels cooler to me, like almost dirtier, like grungier. I just really love the aesthetic of a post-apocalyptic world.
Makes sense for you.
The first Wasteland 2 came out in like 2014. I didn't play it until 2020 when
Jesus.
We all got kind of stuck inside for a while.
The Wastelands.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man, I know how Arizona feels in this. Like I can't leave. No, I played it specifically because I wanted to play Wasteland 3, and then I started kicking myself for having waited so long to play it.
That's what happens, man.
Yeah, they're a great
I feel like
franchise.
I have a lot of games like that where it's like I'm playing them for the first time like last year, and it's like these came out in like 2012. Why didn't I waited this long?
Yeah, like I started playing Red Dead recently, and I'm like, why the fuck have I not been playing this? This is such a fun game.
So is that all you got for that one?
Yes, that is my number 5 pick.
Cool.
What about you, Raistlin?
All right, my number 5 is going to be a controversial one.
Oh, great.
And that is Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog. I love Sonic. I have a Sonic the Hedgehog tattoo even on my arm. A big old Sonic tattoo because I love Sonic the Hedgehog.
With that figure 8 running style.
Oh, yeah. And the reason why I say it's controversial is that I understand that there's a bunch of Sonic games that are considered bad Sonic games. But for the most part, I can find something redeeming in those games. There are some games where people are like, why the hell was this made? And I'm like, that's not that bad. Look at that. It has something fun about it.
Knowing you, this does not surprise me at all. You would find like the trolliest of answers.
Like, yeah, maybe Sonic was making out with a human girl, but the story wasn't terrible.
Forgivable. he's an anthropomorphic hedgehog. It's fine.
So I haven't
chili dog.
So there's one game that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I can't really have an opinion on it because I haven't played much into it, and that is the newest one, Sonic Frontiers. And what I mean is it's okay. I played about 3 hours of the game. So like I said, I can't really make a judgment if I've only played like 2 or 3 hours of the game. But so far, it's like...
And that's like that open world one?
Yeah, it's the open world one. Open zone. We don't say open world in Sonic, okay?
Oh,
they made a big deal about that when they released it. Yeah, it didn't impress me that much. Like, I get that that's probably one of the most popular Sonic games because you can do whatever now. And it's just like, it seems kind of boring. Like, Sonic is just running around in open wilderness, and that's pretty much it, and fighting some bad guys every so often.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't heard pretty much anything about Frontiers after it was released. Like, I heard a bunch of like people hyping up, wanting to play it, and then showing some concern for some of the features that.
Oh, see, I was the opposite when they announced that first trailer, and I was like, "Oh, sick! A new Sonic game! Like this looks like visually looks good." And then IGN was sending out gameplay trailers in the worst possible way, making the game look so boring. And I'm like, oh no, this game's gonna suck. I hope it's not. I'm gonna hold my judgment until I finally try it. And then I got the game, and I was like, oh no, it is just as boring as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, they could have done so much more with that game. But there is one game, and this is extremely controversial. There is one game that I think gets a little too much hate, and I think I'm biased because of who I am, and that is Sonic and the Black Knight. That's the one where Sonic's holding the Excalibur sword, and
The one I was second most hyped about when I found out about it, and I don't even care about Sonic. I was just like, oh, Sonic has a sword?
yeah,
Sweet.
and that's where the gameplay. I won't even lie. The gameplay is pretty garbage. Like,
Yeah.
the gameplay is on the Wii, so it's all motion control, and the story is extremely bland. But I love the aesthetics. It's Sonic I love the King Arthur storyline, and it's Sonic with Excalibur. It's Sonic and the King Arthur storyline. My channel's called Lime Knight. I like knights, and Sonic is a knight.
So you're not alone in the controversy, buddy.
Yeah, like, I'm not even going to defend the game. I just like the looks of it.
My favorite, like, again, I know almost nothing about Sonic. I have not played a Sonic game in a long time, other than, I think, Sonic Forces, which I played a little bit of.
Which is, like, it's considered one of the worst Sonic games ever made.
It's not great. It kind of was. It reminded me why I don't really play Sonic games.
Out of all the Sonic games, you're like, you know what? I haven't played a Sonic game in like 10 years. I'm gonna give another Sonic game. You get that one. Like, come on, man. Yeah. You could have gotten Sonic Mania, which is considered like the best Sonic game.
They said I could create a wolf. I was like, okay, yeah. And then the wolf looked like a
rat.
Like a lesser hedgehog. I was like, what? This isn't a wolf.
And the story is so garbage.
But of all the stuff I have seen of Sonic, my favorite thing is like Sonic the Werehog.
Sonic Unleashed is a great game. That game is awesome. Another one that people think is trash, but that game is amazing.
I've never played that, but I love the look of Sonic the Werehog.
Don't worry, buddy. If you come over, I've got it on the Wii. You can play it with me.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, okay. All right, so that's my number 5. Go ahead with your number 4.
All right, so my number 4 is the Fallout franchise.
It's basically the same as your number 5. It's the same thing.
No, it's different gameplay, because I didn't play Fallouts 1, 2, and Brotherhood and Tactics or anything like that. I played Fallout 3, New Vegas, Shelter 4, and 76.
I feel like this is being like, oh, dude, my favorite game of all time is Skyrim, but my second favorite game is Oblivion. They're the same game with different stories.
It was the same franchise, and they're in the same timeline.
Yeah, so is it Wasteland and Fallout the same franchise? Like the same people that make it?
No, they're not.
Okay.
I think Obsidian might have had something to do with Wasteland, which did make New Vegas, but not the main Fallout games.
Man, my favorite franchise of all time is Mario, but my second favorite franchise is Mario Party. It's different.
Okay, first off, gameplay-wise, it is different, because the Wasteland is different from the Fallouts that I played. Wasteland, you play as...
I'm literally giving you shit, dude. I don't
know. I don't know
anything about.
But now
these
I got to
games.
defend myself on this.
I just know it has the stop little like mechanic where you can like target enemies and fall out.
Yeah, VATS.
Sure. I don't know what it's called.
Fallout is a first-person shooter, whereas Wasteland is a top-down isometric RPG.
The only Fallout game I've ever played. I tried playing Fallout New Vegas. I played it for like an hour and I go, wow, this is stupid. And I turned it off.
That is... Don't leave the podcast because of what he's saying.
Again, I'm not into post-apocalyptic games, though. That's
Yeah.
why it was boring to me.
The New Vegas is like considered one of the best.
Oh, I know. And I get shit for it all the time. Anytime I talk to my buddies that are gamers, and I'm like, dude, no, you like Fallout? Like, I played New Vegas and it was boring. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking?
All right, so the reason I love the Fallout franchise is because, for the most part, you play as a Vault character, and I love the idea of that there is just a company at the beginning of the franchise, Vault Tech, that is purely like the trolliest of trolls to the point where they just fuck over survivors.
Nate, there's only one true Vault Hunter, and that is from Borderlands, okay?
I mean, yeah, there are people who search out vaults in the game.
Yeah,
though.
see, Borderlands has the true vaults, the Vault Hunters. You got your little knockoff Vault Hunters over there.
The vaults mostly never work. They're designed That's the thing. Vault-Tec trolled hundreds, if not thousands, of people because they wanted to perform experiments on these people rather than save them. Like, you have a vault that literally was designed so the door can't close. Like, the entire purpose of the vault, to keep people from being bombed to hell. The door wouldn't close because Vault-Tec's like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, dicks.
Okay. Yeah. Or like, they had white noise playing in the background on a frequency that we couldn't perceive, but it still affected human beings and drove them insane.
They sound like a nice company, man.
Yeah, Vault. That is like one of the things I love about this is like, you never quite understand. I think in Fallout 4, you do go to Vault-Tec headquarters and you can find memos and notes on some of the vaults, and why they did this to some of the vaults. But like, who came up with the idea to just fuck over so many people?
Nate, I will say, if anybody out there wants to get into Fallout, I definitely recommend Fallout 76, the best one.
No.
I know it's considered like the worst Fallout game.
Well, it has gotten better because I didn't play Fallout 76 when it came out because of everything that was happening. I loved Fallout because of the NPCs and the storylines.
And then they took away all that.
Yeah, they took away all of it, but they have introduced a lot of that. It's not quite to the point of a regular Fallout game. But it has been improved a ton. I've been playing it. It is pretty fun, actually. I wish I could get some friends to play with me because I would really love being a traveler with other Vault players.
Well, Nate, if you need some friends to play some Fallout with you, better get some other friends because I'm not going to play Fallout.
Well, I do have other friends now that do play with me online with online stuff.
There you go.
I'm just working my way into getting them into the Fallout 76 line.
Nobody wants to play Fallout because it's not a good franchise.
No, people love Fallout games, Raistlin. You are in the minority on this.
I know, I am.
And you know this. So that is my number 4.
Okay. So my number 4 is a franchise that I have talked about a bunch on my YouTube channel, and that is the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Okay. Yeah,
I actually have a video on my YouTube channel where I rank all of the Assassin's Creed games. So if you're interested in my ranking, go check them out. It's on my channel. A little plug there.
This is on your channel too.
I know.
So they're already on here.
They might be listening on Apple Pod or Spotify. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I always forget that we have other.
But yeah, I've been playing Assassin's Creed since 2007 with the first game. I've played every single Assassin's Creed game. For the most part, I love every game. There's one specific game that I don't like, and it's mentioned in my video, so go check that out. But one of the things I love about this game series is I love the idea of being able to go into the past and play as an assassin along memorable people in history. That's like one of the biggest draws of the franchise is the fact that you get to play as this stealthy, cool assassin. If you're actually playing Assassin's Creed and not one of the newer ones, you get to play as a stealthy assassin and go around and interact with people like, Ben Franklin, Leonardo da Vinci, George Washington, super honorable people throughout history. And you just get to like experience what an assassin would do in that scenario. I love that. And of course the modern world ties into it as well. I love the idea of like you play as this modern guy or woman or whoever the main protagonist is of that game, and you go in like a device that sends you into your ancestors. I think that's just so cool. You've played Assassin's Creed games, right?
Yeah, I've played all of them up until Origins, I think.
Which is get on my video. It's linked on there. I love that game. I've been trying so long, for so many years, to get you to play that game, Nate.
I own all of them now.
How? What? You have no excuse.
I never had an excuse, to be fair. I could have easily rented the game to play it.
This isn't Blockbuster. We don't rent games anymore. It's either you get it or you don't.
So I'm still a subscriber to GameFly.
You and like 4 other people. Good job, Nate.
We're keeping that company alive, man. Just keep trying, GameFly. You'll get there eventually.
What is stopping you from playing the games? Is it just you don't have time?
Other games.
But this game is better than any Fallout or like Red Dead that you could ever play. This is a much better game.
I mean, no. So, okay. My interest in the Assassin's Creed games did drop quite a bit. Spoilers ahead. When they killed Desmond.
Yeah.
And pretty much got rid of all of the stuff they had been working up to in the present day. And I was just like, okay, massive.
Yeah, and now every game
down.
following there's just some like random, random tech guy at the company.
It basically went from having like this really cool premise of like, we're eventually going to be showing you the present day overarching story that we've been building. And then they kill off Desmond and they're like, oh, by the way, none of that matters. We now have they try
to bring it back in some of the newer games, like, oh, Desmond's sacrifice was for this reason. And it's like, well, yeah, okay,
They mentioned Desmond and I think one other subject, and
I think it was Black Flag that you're talking about.
Yeah, in the other games, even in Syndicate, they mention another subject that they're like getting the DNA from, which I always thought was Desmond. I'm not positive. It's been a while.
Yeah, you need to replay them all, like I did, all of 2022. It's in the video.
So shamelessly plugging. It's
all right.
But like the fact that they just completely wiped out everything they had been building up to.
Yeah. I feel like Ubisoft didn't know what to do with the Assassin's Creed franchise. They're like, we're going to have this crazy ending with Desmond. It's going to be momentous. And then they're like, but we want money, so now what? Yeah, I don't know. Other time periods, I guess.
Well, it's not even like the end of Desmond just felt so out of left field. I did not expect it. It was a shock and awe factor. And I feel like they did it because it was a shock and awe factor. Like, they had an overall story that they were going, and then all of a sudden with that game, they're just like, all right, let's do something that's going to shock them. Let's kill Desmond. But sir, if we kill Desmond, we can't continue the story we've been building.
They should have had it where...
figure that out.
They should have had it where Desmond had a protege who was training or something. Like, kind of like Ezio, how he was training people.
Desmond was the protege.
I know, but like, they should have had it where, like, they had, even if it was a scene where it's like, oh yeah, we brought this new guy onto the team to help us take down Abstergo, and Desmond's kind of showing him the ropes with like the bleeding effect and stuff, and then he dies. It'd have been cool if they'd have been like, I'm gonna take up the arms that my master didn't finish and take up the mission, and like that would have been cool. But no, they were just like, nah, completely get rid of that storyline.
I don't really agree with that because, like, Desmond, the whole point was, or originally was, that he was gaining the skills from his DNA ancestors. Like, he had his training, he ran away from the assassin's life in his life, so he didn't really have the insane training they did.
No, he didn't? What are you talking about? Are you
Didn't
talking
he
about how he
go a bartender or something?
he was a bartender? He didn't even know about the assassins. He got kidnapped by Abstergo.
Okay, so yeah, he didn't have anything to do with the assassin's life. Okay,
Yeah.
so I misremembered a little bit.
Yeah, he straight up was just a random bartender that the Abstergo abducted and was like,
Yeah.
"We're gonna experiment on you."
And then he gets all of these skills, and you don't even really like. You get to utilize them a little bit in some segments of the games.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like he was becoming a master assassin because his ancestors were master assassins, and then poof, nothing, nada. His storyline ends in a weird ass. Lucy kills him. I think.
No. You get into
Who was it that
spoilers.
killed him?
Who is? You want me to spoil that?
Yeah, I've already played it. I just don't remember.
The gods do.
Was it?
It's,
they possessed him.
No. You're thinking of the end of Assassin's Creed 2. Desmond's death happens in Assassin's Creed 3 with Connor, and the one where you're a Native American. That's where Desmond dies.
But how does he die?
He has to save the apocalypse is coming, and the world's going to basically implode on itself because of the old gods. And the old gods is like, we can stop this if you sacrifice yourself. And he does that and ends the apocalypse. That's how he dies.
Yeah, okay. I probably am misremembering.
You're remembering
in
the end of Assassin's Creed 2 when you find out Lucy was a Templar the whole time and that the gods possess him to stab her.
Okay. That is... Okay, yeah. I am. I'm remembering that and
Trust me, I recently played all of them last year.
I trust you on the lore of this. Just like I said, my interest in the Assassin's Creed games kind of vanished after he died. I continued to play them, but it was more like,
Nate, I will say the one game that you can completely skip is Valhalla. Just don't even bother. That was the game I was talking about. That was like, this is the only Assassin's Creed game that I don't have a redeeming quality for.
Yeah,
Valhalla was such a disappointment because I'm a huge fan of Norse mythology, Vikings, all that stuff. One of my favorite show is Vikings. I was so hyped, and then it was like I got it, and I was like, "This is not an Assassin's Creed game." Like, if they would have made this just its own standalone thing and not slap the Assassin's Creed logo and be like, "We're gonna try to tie this into the lore of Assassin's Creed," it would have been fine. But the fact that they like tried to shoehorn this in as an Assassin's Creed, it literally is. You're a Viking warrior going around pillaging and killing. You're not an assassin at all, not even close. And even the gameplay isn't great. Like, I don't even enjoy the combat that much.
It just really Assassin's Creed assassinated itself.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
With me, at least, when they killed Desmond.
Well, I don't agree with that because two of my favorite games in the franchise come after Desmond's death. Yeah. So I can't really say that. That boils down to mechanics. I love the story of the game and the mechanics of the game.
The games were still fun. That's why I played Black Flag. It's why I played
Syndicate Unity.
Yeah. I've enjoyed them. They're fun games. But story-wise, I wasn't as invested in it anymore because I just wasn't sure. I
can totally see that. I could completely understand that.
Yeah, like, who's this random dude you guys are making me play as, taking over these characters?
I will say, Nate, if you ever play Origins, they introduce basically a new Desmond, a new main character. It's a woman named Layla. Yeah, you have to play as a girl. And she is like, they're trying to make her the new Desmond. I think she's been in, I want to say 2 of the games. I don't remember if she's in Valhalla, but she's in Origins and she's in Odyssey.
It just, yeah. I will probably eventually get to playing them. It's just, the point,
Bayek is such a cool protagonist.
I mean, almost all of the assassins are really cool protagonists.
Jacob Fry for the win. Yeah.
No, like Jacob Fry's cool. I like him. I just don't think he's a good assassin.
We need to move on, man. We need to move on. So what's
This is your pick.
I know. What's your next pick, man?
All right, my next pick is Mass Effect franchise.
Oh, another one that I have like almost no interest in playing.
The Mass Effect franchise.
Your choices in like your genres of games are like the complete opposite of mine. It's like you love the franchises that I don't like are like space sci-fi story, like choices games, and Fallout, like post-apocalypse. Those are like my two least interested type of games, and you pick those as your top three.
The things I look for is customization and story-driven. That's pretty much it. If you can make choices in that story, even better.
See, I don't like games like that for the most part. There are some exceptions, but like I get anxious. So it's like if I make this choice, it might mess up the ending. I won't get the ending I want. I don't want to do that. That's why I like games where it's just like, this is the story. Play through the game. I like linear games.
Yeah, Mass Effect definitely is. If you make one wrong choice, you're going to lose your whole party.
Yeah, and I hate that. That's what it's like. I play games and I have that mechanic in the game, and it's like I gotta look it up. I gotta see what happens now. I don't want to make the wrong choice.
I remember playing Mass Effect, and then like a couple of my crew members, they weren't like part of the main crew. They were one named person, and then other crew members ended up dying in the final mission. And I'm like, oh man, that sucks. And then I later found out I could have saved them had I made just one slight choice.
How many times do you quick save and have to reload all the time?
Oh, I am a scum saver for life. I developed that habit because of XCOM.
So what makes you love this franchise?
So Mass Effect franchise is, in my opinion, the best video game where the story is the factor.
Okay, so it has the best story.
Yeah, because, and by story I mean not only the narrative of the story, but also the choices you make impacting the worlds of the game you're playing.
Okay.
Because, like, I'm pretty sure other games have done this, but this game, in my opinion, has done it the best, where even, like, the most inconsequential choice or action you have committed in, like, the first game has effects in the third game.
See, that just stresses me out just hearing that.
It's not like you would notice it. Like,
I know. It's just like, I don't want that. I want to just play the game.
I love the fact that it makes it feel like you are... So the reason I play video games is kind of an escapism from ordinary, boring life. Like, I have to go to work, come home, and I play video games because I'm not a cool spacefaring adventurer.
See, I do the same thing, though, but I don't like the idea of having to make real-life choices that affect the game. I already do that in real life, man. It's like, if I make this choice, it's going to affect my life. I don't want that in my video games.
I get it, but it's the opposite reasoning for me. It's the fact that I can make those choices is what makes me feel like I am a part of that world. Like, this isn't me following the narration of someone else's life. This is me choosing these choices, and I'm affecting the world.
I'm a follower. I'm a follower, not a leader. I'll just whatever choices that person already made, I'll follow that to the end.
I mean, in life, I'm a follower. In video games, yeah, I'm a leader.
I'm a god.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors. Yeah. No. So yeah, Mass Effect is just such. It was the first game I had ever encountered that was like that, where you could save somebody in the first game, and then in the second game, you meet up with them, and their life has maybe turned to shit. Or you meet them in the third game, and they are now heroes themselves. They're like, we saw you, we were inspired by you, we decided to do something about it, we're here to help you. And I'm like, fuck yeah. The only thing I would say that I didn't like about Mass Effect, in all, because I have played all of the games, Mass Effect 1 to Andromeda. And
Isn't
even
Andromeda real quick? Isn't Andromeda known as like one of the worst of the entire franchise?
Yes, but
I've heard only
not,
nothing but negative things about that game.
I liked it.
Andromeda was one of those games. Again, I'm not into. I don't know anything about Mass Effect, but Andromeda was one of those games that I saw came out, and within like 3 months was on sale for $20.
Yeah, well, so they took away the team that was working on it to work on another game.
Oh, that I hate when that happens. That sucks.
And then they gave the game, I believe, I could be wrong, I haven't done massive research into the ins and outs of it, but I'm pretty sure they gave the game to a team that had only worked on cinematics.
Okay, yeah, I looked into a tiny bit of it because I wanted to see what all the hate was about. I remember a lot of people said that like the cinematics are garbage.
It was, the game itself was, not from my experience, but from people I know who had played it also, who also didn't like it really. I loved it because I had a good experience with it. I got super lucky.
Well, it's also because you're a massive fan of the franchise, so I feel like you had like nostalgia filters on.
Well, no, because like I could see the flaws in it. It's just like I said, I got really lucky. It was a glitchy mess.
Hey, that's how I feel about Assassin's Creed Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity was a massive glitchy mess that everybody hates. I love that game.
Same. I keep getting lucky with these super glitchy games because they don't glitch for me when I'm playing them.
Like, the most I got at Assassin's Creed Unity as a glitch was like, one time I was opening the chest and his arms became like Slenderman spaghetti noodle monster arms opening the chest, and I was like, oh, that was funny. And that was it. It's the only glitch I really experienced.
I had no glitches when I played Unity. I played that game, I loved it, and then I heard all the hate, and I'm like, why? This is such a good game. This is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. And everyone's like, oh, you're wrong. And I'm like...
Oh, don't worry. If you watch my video that I have on my channel down below, it talks about where I put Unity on there, and I've been getting lots of negative comments about it.
So Mass Effect Andromeda also is like Unity. It has a ton of glitches that I didn't experience, and I'm loving the game. Like there is one massive thing I didn't like about the game. They canceled the second part of it. Like it left on a cliffhanger.
Oh, it's unfinished?
Yeah, they left it on a cliffhanger. They're like, okay, now this ship is coming in. We are finally going to be meeting the rest of the races from the other galaxy. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then that's it. To
be continued.
Yeah. I think they did like do a continuation either in a book or a comic form, but that is it. But other than that, I loved it. It was not as good as the original trilogy, but then again, the original trilogy burnt me as well with the ending. I hate the original trilogy ending. Everything else I love about that franchise, but its endings are garbage in my opinion.
Yeah, that's happened on a lot of games for me.
Yeah, so that would be that pick. What is your next one? Raistlin?
All right, so my number 3, we're getting to top 3 now, is the Legend of Zelda franchise. Okay. I have been playing Legend of Zelda since like the N64 era.
Yeah. I played. My first Legend of Zelda was the NES.
Oh, so you played the original Zelda.
Yeah.
So my favorite Zelda games are actually the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker and Skyward Sword. Those are literally my top 3 Zelda games. And I feel like Skyward Sword is one of those games that people are like, why the hell is it so high on your list? And I love those games. I love the idea of you just being the chosen hero and going to save Hyrule and all that stuff. I love the whole aesthetic of the game. It's just simple. Yeah. Good versus evil. Go do it in different ways with each game. You got Zelda who's a wolf. You got Zelda on water. You got Zelda in the sky. Like, it's just same story, just different directions. And I love it.
The last Legend of the Zelda
yes.
Legend of the Zelda game I played was technically Hyrule Warriors.
Yay! We consider Zelda on this channel.
But the last one I played by myself was Majora's Mask.
Majora's
And
Mask is great.
that is perhaps my favorite of them all,
That
simply
is such a
because
dark game.
I'm a very dark person, I've realized. In my happy exterior, inside I'm apparently a very dark individual. But I love shapeshifting, and the fact that he has all these masks that changes him, and I'm just like, that's such a cool, unique feature.
I will
I like
say
that.
on Majora's Mask, my favorite look of all time of Zelda, not
Mm-hmm.
gameplay, but just look, is
Mm-hmm.
Deku look, or the Deku Link when he's the flower guy.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
little
why.
wooden doll
I
looking Link.
don't. That is the coolest looking Zelda in my opinion. But
That's-
yet you got Wolf Link over there.
yeah,
And that's great because Twilight Princess is my favorite of all Zelda games. But I don't know, Deku Link is just so cool.
I can understand that. Almost, I liked all of the looks in Majora's Mask. I just love the idea of them like, okay, now here's a race. Let's see what Link would look like in that race.
Right?
There we go. Like, I just thought that was a neat idea.
Okay, so I think there are some extremely underrated Zelda games that definitely need more love. And that is, most of these are all handheld games. You got the Minish Cap on the Game Boy Advance. That game was amazing. You got to shrink down to be a little like Bakori, which are like these little imps, like little elves. They're like supposed to be like the elves that live in the mushrooms, that live in the walls and stuff. Like the old, old folktale elves. And then you got this one, super underrated. This is on the GameCube. Make sure it's the GameCube version because that's the one that has a story. And that is the Four Swords Adventure, where you could play as 4 different Links, and you could basically have to go take down an evil being that's not Ganon for once.
Okay.
And I loved being able to control all 4 Links, and the story's so good. Oh, the game is so great. And then A Link Between Worlds that came out on the 3DS, where you could turn into a painting flat and go to another dimension. One of the cool things about that game was that it was, instead of it being like, go to this dungeon, defeat that monster, then go to the next dungeon, defeat the monster, it was your items, because you know how in every Zelda game it's always like, go to the dungeon, you get the bow and defeat the monster with the bow, right? And then you go in the next one, you get the boomerang and beat the boomerang monster, right?
Yeah.
So this one, instead of it being that, it was all of the items in the game were in your house. And it was a guy who moved in, it was a shopkeeper, and he said, hey, if you want to borrow any of these weapons, you can rent them for a fee. And then go to any dungeon that correlates to that weapon at any time. So basically, you could play the story in any order that you wanted. Which was pretty cool. They'd never done anything like that on a Zelda game.
Yeah,
And I thought it was great.
I'm not really that interested in Legend of Zelda. I keep messing up the name of that franchise.
Legends of the Zelda.
Yeah. But only because I think I might be more interested in Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I'm getting to that in a second.
But the other ones, the art styles actually kind of took me out.
I love the art style of the old ones.
I'm all for not the old one. Well, I guess maybe the old ones. Now we considering that, yeah, 2023,
old 2000. Like I think Wind Waker came out like 2005, and it's like, jeez, that's so old.
Yeah, it's hard to think like that now, but I gotta get that way. But like I love experimenting with art styles. That I'm all for. It just personally for me, I wasn't a fan of the art style itself.
Which one?
I think Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's the cartoony look.
Yeah.
And which is hilarious that you say that, because Wind Waker has won awards for its art style. Like, people love Wind Waker's art style.
I can understand. It's cutesy and it looks good. It's just, to me, I'm not a big fan of that type of art style.
And see, like it's just funny because it's like, that's what it's known for. It's like, people love that game because it's like, it's the most different art style of all Zelda games.
It is very different. I can grant it that. I think the only thing that would get me into a Legend of Zelda game now would be if he dual wielded some swords.
So now we're going to get to the controversial part of Zelda, and that is what you've already mentioned, is the Breath of the Wild. I'm probably going to get hate for it, but I don't really like Breath of the Wild that much.
Yeah,
As a Zelda game. As a Zelda game. Okay, hear me out. Zelda games are traditional Zelda games that I've mentioned. You know, all the games in the past that have worked so well, and I love them all. Linear stories. La da 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 da. Breath of the Wild was like, let's make an open world RPG, slap some Zelda themes on it, and have breakable weapons. There you go, guys. Everybody loves it. Woo! And I'm not a fan. Like, I don't want an open world RPG with my Zelda games. And I guarantee that's the direction they're going now, because they've already announced Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out this year. And I'm worried that they're just going to continue Breath of the Wild 3, Breath of the Wild 4, Breath of the Wild 5. And it's just going to be open world RPG Zeldas forever now. And I don't want that.
I don't think that is what's going to happen. I feel like they have done this. They're going to enjoy it for a while, but they understand people still want to play the original style. So
they've been having rumors of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker getting a remaster like they did with Skyward Sword on the Switch or whatever console comes after the Switch, because the Switch is like 6 years old now. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, time is flying very rapidly.
So there's been rumors for years, and I think eventually it will get a remaster like Skyward Sword did.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's the case, so people can still play classic, quote-unquote, classic Zelda games instead of this open-world RPG nonsense that I don't enjoy.
I feel like it's kind of like a Mario situation, because you still have... Mario has delved into so many different styles of gameplay that
Mario
I think...
Maker, Mario Kart, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis.
Yeah. Like, Legend of Zelda can afford to dip its toe into other styles, but it will eventually still retain its originality.
And don't get me wrong, if you love Breath of the Wild, which is probably like 99% of you listening to this right now.
99.9%. You are the 0.1%.
Yeah, I know. You are completely valid. I completely understand why you love Breath of the Wild. I played Breath of the Wild. I put like 70 hours into that game. It's not a bad game. I don't hate the game. The game's fun as an open world RPG game. It's not a Zelda game to me, which is redundant. I completely understand that doesn't make any sense.
Especially when you consider that you do consider Hyrule Warriors a Zelda game.
I know. It's not the playstyle I like for a Zelda game. And the biggest reason, honestly, is the breakable weapons. I hate the breakable weapons. That if they got rid of breakable weapons in Breath of the Wild, I'd probably put that way higher on my list. Yeah, I despise the fact that I'm like surrounded by a horde of monsters. All of a sudden, kadoosh, my sword breaks, and now I'm out of weapons.
Yeah, is the Master Sword a breakable weapon, or do you even get the Master Sword?
It is not a breakable weapon, but you have a certain amount of uses until it needs to recharge.
Okay.
So it's literally a breakable weapon.
Yeah.
Which again, I hate it. You get rid of that factor. I put Breath of the Wild at top fucking 10. With the breakable weapons, it's way at the bottom.
I remember reading a Reddit post about Legend of Zelda and dual wielding, and I was like, "Oh, that looks sick," but he's only got like the one Master Sword. Is he just gonna wield the Master Sword and like some other random regular sword? Like, that doesn't sound great. And then someone mentioned that there is apparently another sword that he does wield occasionally. The sword that splits him into 4 people.
No, the 4 swords.
Yeah. Oh, is that straight up what it's called? The 4 swords?
I don't know. I don't remember that being in Breath of the Wild. Is that in Breath of the Wild?
No. I'm just.
Oh no. About, like, that's the thing 4
that would
swords.
Get me interested again.
That is the game that I was talking about. The 4 Swords Adventure. It's called the 4 Swords. You pull it out of the thing, and he splits into 4 people.
So, imagine him having that with the Master Sword, and then having 4 Links running around dual wielding the Master Sword and the 4 swords. Just a whirling dervish tornado of blades.
So that is my number 3 with the controversial Breath of the Wild take.
Okay. That's a good one, I think.
I feel like Legend of Zelda is a lot of people's top 5.
Yeah, I am definitely in the minority on that one.
Yeah, you're over there playing like Fallout and Mass Effect, while everybody else
I
is
mean,
playing real games.
people are still playing Fallout and Mass Effect and Skyrim.
So what's your number 2?
All right, my number 2 would be Dragon Age. The
Okay.
Dragon Age.
Another game that's been on my play later list for so long now.
Yes. Dragon Age, I will admit, I originally just liked the first game. I've played all of the games. I've read some of the comics and some of the books. I love the lore of Dragon Age. The first one, though, Origins, that is my all-time favorite of their franchise. I did not like 2 and Inquisition very much until I got them for PC. I played them on Steam. I downloaded a couple of mods that kind of helped with the UI and controls, and that's not cheating. That's improving.
Nah.
And it wasn't improved, like making it easier to play the game.
And then I had infinite life and infinite weapons and infinite this and infinite that.
I don't do that. It's literally like making the compass bigger or something like that.
I swatted the final boss like he was a fly.
Or changing the look of a weapon. Like, I wanted a leather duster in my Inquisition's character.
We got ourselves a full-on cheater over here.
Modders aren't technically cheaters.
I made it where my main character had no weight limit and could hold an infinity blade, and I just killed the final boss with the flick of my wrist.
Okay, I say I gave him a leather duster, and you're like, you keep saying, you cheated using infinite light? No.
I played Mario on Infinitive Lice with the mod.
Anyway, since I was able to improve the slight UI changes for the other 2 games, I like them even more. But I have always loved the storyline of all of the games.
I made the final boss turn into Thomas the Tank Engine.
You can do that in Skyrim.
I know,
okay?
that's why I said
that. So, the Dragon Age Origins, the reason it would be my favorite out of all of them is because of the mechanics of the game. You could create your character however you want to create your character. You want to be a dual-wielding warrior? Do it. You want to be a rogue that for some reason wields a big sword? Sure. Your abilities aren't going to match up with your set, but whatever. You can do it. And the other games, they limit you. That is the only reason. The entire franchise, I cannot wait for Dreadwolf to come out. I will say that it saddens me that, again, the wolf character is apparently the antagonist of the franchise, which sucks. But whatever, I can get past that. The games themselves are just fun. If you like medieval fantasy and you like certain humor, you're going to love these games. And that would be my second pick.
I know I've heard you talk about those a lot since we've been friends, and I understand why that's number 2 for you.
Yes, I also love the fact that it's made by BioWare, which is they also did Mass Effect, and so they do a lot of like little Easter egg crossovers. Like Mass Effect has an entire race called the Krogan, which are like battle-hardened warriors that are almost unstoppable in any environment. In Mass Effect, you can find the head of a Krogan mounted on a wall. Like someone hunted one of these unstoppable monster characters. And I'm just like, first off, that hunter is a beast for being able to take down a Krogan. Second, why the fuck is this alien head in the middle of my fantasy world? Like, it just
don't matter.
Yeah.
Don't even question it.
Just a little nice tie-in kind of thing. I'm like, oh, did it just crash land or something? It just little lore bits. I love.
All right. Well, so my number 2 is the franchise Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, there's a lot of talk on the Limelight YouTube channel about Kingdom Hearts. And it's because I love the franchise. Take Disney, fuse it with some Final Fantasy elements. Boom, you got a great franchise.
Yes, I'm legit surprised that you don't have a Kingdom Hearts tattoo yet.
I do have a Kingdom Hearts tattoo.
Do you?
It's on my back. Yep, it's a little small one, but it's there.
Okay.
So you just don't see it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I've never. Okay, it's on your back.
Yeah, it's the heartless and nobody symbols together.
Okay.
And it's on my back. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I actually have another shameless plug of I have an entire video explaining about the worlds I love the singing Kingdom Hearts. Check them out.
And the last podcast also talked about
I know.
Kingdom Hearts.
But yeah, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts as a kid for the first time and being amazed that I could play as a character that travels throughout Disney movies that I loved growing up. Like I'm like 2000 was it 2? I think 2001, maybe something like that is when the first one came out. And I'm, probably 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. And I remember being like, whoa, I could play as this guy going to like Aladdin and, Alice in Wonderland and A Little Mermaid. It's like, whoa, I grew up on all these movies. And it's like I could travel them fighting monsters. How cool is that? Teaming up with Genie and Aladdin and teaming up with Simba. And it's so cool. So yeah, the Kingdom Hearts franchise has grown so much, and the story is so muddled now, completely crazy for what it was in Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, the game has just gone so far crazy into what it is today. And it's just like, what does the franchise hold? What does the future hold for this franchise? It could be literally anything.
So I looked it up online, went to the Wikipedia. It came out in 2002, so I was 12 when I played it.
So that means I was 11, because I'm a year younger than you, right?
Yes. And it has like a little diagram of the timeline, and it is.
Dude. Okay, you could have it. I've seen videos on YouTube. You could have an entire 45-minute video trying to explain the timeline of Kingdom Hearts. If you are interested in Kingdom Hearts, you have to start at 1 and go chronologically, like the order of releases, because it is so confusing if you don't.
It is baffling, to say the least.
It's like when people try to explain the timeline of the Zelda franchise. There is no timeline. Just like Kingdom Hearts, it's just whatever it wants to be.
It is the most chaotic timeline I have ever seen of any fiction.
But yeah, I have. Oh, here's a little side note for any fans of my videos. I am going to be making another World's Wish List video in the future. So, shut up. So, you just expect that on this channel.
So much shameless plug.
I don't care. This is my channel. I don't care. But yeah, I love this franchise. There's so many worlds it can go to, so many different things. If they ever wanted to break away from Disney, they could go to video games, that we mentioned, anime, movies. It could be anything. They could branch it off into anything if Disney will allow it.
Yeah, that is true. They have infinite possibilities.
Yeah, I feel like this franchise has the most potential to branch out into anything at once.
Well, I wouldn't say the most.
It has a very high potential to branch off.
Fortnite has.
Oh yeah, Fortnite is the obvious answer for that.
Its literal lore is that it is the beginning of everything.
But I'm just saying that there's so many possibilities if you can jump through all the legal garbage that happens with companies. This franchise has so much possibilities.
The collab nobody ever guessed: Kingdom Hearts and Fortnite.
Imagine the Fortnite weapons is like a Keyblade.
Right? Like, that would be the harvesting tool, but also in a Kingdom Hearts game, you get Jonesy.
But instead of, how in Fortnite you get Deku Smash, or it's just a punch and it does a giant wave.
Yeah.
It just do that, but you only get the really bad ultimate finisher from Kingdom Hearts and Super Smash Bros. Where the door slams.
Oh yeah, like a little
the one that nobody
keyhole.
wanted. Yeah, the one they were like, oh, we're gonna get all the ultimate forms, Valor forms, all these cool, crazy finishers from the Kingdom Hearts.
A Mega Man style.
Yeah, and no, you get a door closing, and then that's the ultimate in Super Smash. You get that in Fortnite.
Yeah,
you get the equivalent of that in Fortnite.
The more I think about it, though, the more it actually does kind of make sense because that would be an epic event where you're playing Fortnite and then nobody's just starts showing up and heartless, and you can just start fighting them, kind of like the zombie Fortnitemares thing they have
Yeah.
in Fortnite. Like that would actually make sense.
Like I said, the possibilities are endless.
And then, yeah, once you combine it with Fortnite, then it truly is endless because you have access to everything through Fortnite.
And then all the skins are like now Disney princesses, Disney this, Disney that, Disney.
Right? Like both franchises would benefit so much from this.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I ever get a Fortnite and there's a Roxas skin, who is literally one of my favorite characters in the Kingdom Hearts franchise,
It's
over. That's my main character, huh?
Is that the dual wielder?
Yeah, he's the dual wielder. Nobody of Sora who wears a hood.
Yeah, I'm like, I remember that name. I've played Kingdom Hearts 2.
So yeah, that's my number 2 pick. So what is your number 1? What is your favorite franchise of all time, Nate?
All right, so my Fable. Yeah, my favorite franchise is Fable. Oh, who would have guessed?
Another one that's been on my play later for so long.
Yes. The first game is not my favorite of the franchise, but it is my favorite concept of the franchise. Spoilers for anybody.
Bro, I'm going to play the game.
Are you really, though?
Yes, I plan on
Plus, I've already told you everything about this franchise.
That's
so
all right. My memory of a goldfish, so it's fine.
If you don't remember it, then that just proves the point. I can tell you again. So the first point, or the first concept of the game, is that you're being trained in a hero academy.
My Hero Academy.
Yeah, a fantasy version of that, which is great. Their only stipulation, you don't have to be a hero. You can
be a villain?
Yeah, you can leave their academy and go off to do whatever. Their idea of hero isn't exactly like the righteous people. It's people of noteworthiness, just legends almost. So basically a school of legends, but they call them heroes. And it was, I love that idea. I love the concept of you having a character that goes in and you're being trained to become a legend. And then the rest of the games, while fun, personally my favorite is the third one, which is I believe controversial because not many people like the third one. I liked it for the stupidest of reasons. I saved my entire kingdom by making pies.
Makes sense. Totally valid reason.
Yep. That I wasted so many hours making pies to earn gold so I didn't have to pick the evil options at the end of the game.
Oh, you're so noble, Nate.
Not noble, stupid.
You're the hero that we don't need. They're the hero we deserve.
Yeah. So in the third game, or honestly in all the games, you can buy properties in the game and rent them out to NPCs, make money that way. One of the strategies to make a lot of money is to just jack up your taxes, make them pay you an exorbitant amount of money. Yeah, your honor and reputation is going to take a hit, but you can make that up easily. I didn't go that route. I was like, no, I'm going to keep my taxes at a lowered rate so my people didn't have to pay that many taxes. And I didn't pick any of the bad choices at the end because they're like, well, you can either save money and, make children work in your workforce, so child labor, or spend money and send your children to school and educate them so that they can be better people in society. And I'm like, pies. I'm going to go make some pies real quick. I'll be right back.
I'll be back, guys.
Yeah, I was the pie making king of my kingdom. And at the end of I didn't even realize I was doing it because at the end of the game, they're like, well, let's see what decisions you made. Oh, well, you did all the right choices, all these, but you didn't wait or use up all your money. So now you have no funds to fight the war against the bad guy. But then my playthrough, oh, wait, you did. You made money by making pies.
Oh my
So I
god.
funded an entire war effort with pies.
That's
the
so
fact
stupid, Nate.
the fact you can do that, I love. That is not the sole reason that it is my favorite franchise, because the most stupid thing is like game changing in a way. Plus the first game, I think actually in all the games, you get hit, you get scars. Your character ages while you play the game.
That's
Your
annoying.
character changes. It is at first, again, as a person who loves to customize, yeah, it's super annoying. But you can't customize your characters really in this, other than like
Shouldn't
you
even
can
be your
use
number one then.
you can choose hairstyles, you can choose tattoos, which I say is not a feature that a lot of games use criminally. You should be able to pick tattoos for your characters, scars as well. Um, in this game, you could pick tattoos, you could unlock tattoos, you can unlock hairstyles, all these really cool features that are just kind of mundane. They're not like game changing things. You're not defeating a villain because you're wearing a certain tattoo. It's just you want your character to look cool. You can have your character look however you want. And yeah, it's just I love that game. You can get married. You can have kids in these games.
Nate, you can have a family.
I did have a family, and I was a pretty damn good father when I was around.
When I was around.
I was pretty absent due to saving the world and all that.
What a
The
terrible
typical
father.
hero father kind of stuff.
Son, you're on your own. I have to go save the universe.
When I was around, I gave my son his first toy sword.
You were basically if Kratos was a father in the God of War franchise.
I guess I haven't played any of the God of War instead of God of War 2.
I just know that God isn't he known for I'm gonna go brutally murder every god. Oh, I have a son now, so I guess I'll raise him.
Yeah, no. In the first trilogy, yes, he was like, I'm going to just wreck the pantheon of Greece. In the second one, I believe he's wrecking the pantheon of Norse mythology. So
that's God of War though.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the little things in the Fable franchise that make it so exceptional, in my opinion. Now, I will say, Peter Molyneux, the marketing guy for the Fable games, hyped them up way too much. He made promises where you could plant an acorn into the ground and watch it as you play grow into a mighty tree. All these little things, and I'm like, that's really cool. It didn't happen. So
we've had games like that. They promised things that didn't happen. No Man's Sky.
Yeah. Brink. So Peter Molyneux did oversell the game, but the things that they did have in the game should not be overshadowed by his promises. It is a great games. All the games are great in their own right. Yeah. Highly recommend it. Great humor. Hilarious, just tongue-in-cheek humor. In case of point, there's a quest early on where you can meet a guy who is cheating on his wife. And you can either accept the money and not tell his wife, or go to his wife and tell her, and she'll be like, yeah, thanks. And then go just berate and beat him up. It's just hilarious that you see something you don't normally see in a game. So that is my top pick of all time. That is my franchise. I am super excited that they're coming out with a Fable 4. I had given up hope. And then Ty actually was like, Nate, did you hear? And I'm like, hear what? They're coming out with a Fable 4. I'm like, don't fucking tease me like that.
Don't
Ty.
troll me like this.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was trolling me because of how you and him are. And I'm like,
I would never troll you, Nate.
Oh, fuck off. You troll me all the time. I'm like, don't mess with my heart like this, man. That is my pinnacle of franchises right there. Don't be doing. And he's like, no, man, here's a trailer. And I'm like, oh,
fan-made trailer.
Yeah. As soon as I did watch it, I'm like,
is this real? I gotta go to their Twitter. I gotta all the Fable websites to find out if this is real.
I was super excited, but then the reality, I was like, But wait, he could be. This could just be fan made. Like that.
How many
Let's
times
check
have we
out.
seen a trailer for a Legend of Zelda TV show or movie coming out? And it's a fan made trailer.
Exactly. Like, well, the reason I had given up on Fables games because they had already made 2 Fable games or 1 Fable game and had planned to make another one that were not great because they weren't, as in your opinion, like with Breath of the Wild, they weren't Fable games. One was like you ride a wagon from town to town.
That's my favorite Fable game.
That's it. Like you defended the wagon.
I'm like Oregon Trail.
I think it was called Fable Journeys.
Hell yeah. That's the one that's the first one I'm gonna play.
And then they had another one where
that's the only one you recommend, Nate, is the Oregon Trail one.
I actually liked Oregon Trail. I now have a Nintendo Switch, and I'm planning on getting the new Oregon Trail game that is out on the store because I loved Oregon Trail when I was a kid.
Oh my god.
But then the other Fable game that made me give up all hope was Fable Heroes, I think is what it's called, where you played one of 4 heroes against a villain who is played by another player. And I'm like, oh, so it's like Death by Daylight kind of thing. I'm not interested in that. Why is it not Fable? But then it got canceled. Like, well. There goes the franchise. So, yeah, I love that franchise. Super excited. What is your number 1 pick, Raistlin?
My number 1 pick is going to be out of left field for you, Nate. It's going to be crazy that I picked this. It's unexpected, crazy pick.
Digimon.
No. I may have a giant tattoo on my arm of this franchise.
Digimon.
It's the better of Digimon, and that is the Pokemon franchise. Oh, who saw that coming? Whoa! Yeah, the Pokemon franchise is probably the franchise I've played the absolute most in my entire life. It's been around. I was obsessed with Pokemon as a child in the 90s when it first came out, and I'm a 31-year-old adult who's still obsessed with Pokemon.
A lot of adults are, yes.
I know. I even got my oldest son into Pokemon, and I've never been more proud as a father.
Pokemon go to the polls.
Shut up. Yeah, when my eldest son was like, Dad, can I play some Pokemon games you have? I was like, you have ascended, child. You have become the child you needed to be.
How long have you been wanting to be able to say my eldest son?
Shut up. I was so obsessed with Pokemon as a kid that my mom actually told me in the past that I was so obsessed that it was actually banned in my house because I would just go around just listing Pokemon over and over again, just talking about it nonstop, talking about, the anime, the games. I would just sit there and just be like, Pikachu, Raichu, and my mom's like, we're done. It's banned from the house. It is just too much Pokemon in this house.
See, it's almost the exact opposite in my house. My parents are the ones who got really into Pokemon after me, and they're like, Nate, let's play Pokemon. Let's go play Pokemon Go. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. Exercise, I guess.
I'll leave the house.
Yeah, but they're the ones who really got into Pokemon after I had given up on it a while ago.
How dare you, Nate? You never give up on Pokemon. I have played every single mainline story game. Oh my god, I played every single mainline story game of all the Pokemons, and I played them multiple times. I played through every mainline game like at least 10 times.
I have not. I played. Let's see here. Red.
Okay, understandable. Child of the
Yellow.
90s. Yep, child of the 90s.
Then I played Snap, I think it was.
Okay. Take pictures
Stadium.
of Pokemon.
Yeah. Stadium. Snap, I think, is the one actually where my mom got interested because she loves taking pictures.
Hey, you have a Switch. There's a new Pokemon Snap.
Well, true. So I might get that for my mom.
See?
Stadium. And then I played Silver. I felt like I needed to buy that for some reason.
Oh my god!
I'm not sure why.
Silver-eyed wolf.
And then I played. I think Diamond is what it was. Is that what?
Yeah, there's Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, Diamond. And then
Was that it?
Shield.
Oh, you got Shield? When did you get Shield?
Oh, not Shield. I'm sorry. What was it? Sun?
Sun and Moon is on the 3DS.
Sun and Y.
Sun and Y are two different generations.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
okay.
those, I got those.
What?
Two.
You know what? I'm proud of you. You've at least played like there's 9 generations of Pokemon now. You've played at least like 5 of them.
I have not played Sun.
You own it? You haven't played it?
I own it. I have not played it. I haven't even beaten Y. I played it for like.
This is hurting my soul hearing.
I played it for like a week, and I was like, "Oh, this is a Pokemon game." That's right. There's nothing. It's nothing new other than new Pokemon. Okay.
How dare you say that to me?
That they found. I will give them credit. They found a formula. They stuck with that formula. It works for them.
You can't even deny Pokemon is like the biggest selling franchise of all time.
Exactly. Like, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, like, they found a formula. They stuck with the formula. It works for them. They've branched out recently with what was it, Arceus, I think.
Arceus and Scarlet and Violet are like open world games.
Yeah. Like, congratulations, you're finally
after 30 years
your toes into other things.
After like 30 years, you're finally getting a new franchise or new style.
Yeah, my interest peaked when I was like, okay, like I'm not that great of a Pokemon trainer. Can I just go like, I don't know, kill things with a sword now?
The only Pokemon games I haven't really played as some of the spin-offs is like Mystery Dungeon. I haven't played all the Pokemon Ranger games. Stuff like that. Some of the spin-offs I never got a chance to play.
I don't know what it's called, but someone told me that there's like a Fire Emblem style Pokemon game. And I'm like,
Emblem Pokemon style game.
Yeah, it's like you play a army tactical game where your units get Pokemon. And I'm like, that actually sounds interesting. I want to look into that. But I had forgotten what it was called, so
I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now while you talk about why do you love Pokemon? Like, why have you stuck with the franchise?
Because, like, I don't know, a lot of it's nostalgia. It's like what I grew up on. I loved watching the anime growing up as a kid. I love the idea of all these monsters that you can train, and I love there's so many different with Pokemon Scarlet Violet now, Nate, there is over 1,000 Pokemon now. Over 1,000. How does that make you feel, knowing that there's over 1,000 Pokemon now?
I mean, it makes me feel like some of them really shouldn't be Pokemon because I know for a fact, like, yeah, there's like an ice cream cone, there's a teacup, there's a trash bag.
Hell yeah. Trubbish.
That tells me that they ran out of ideas. They were being crunched for time, looked around their room or house and was like, that's a Pokemon now.
Nate, there is a new Pokemon in Scarlet Violet called Reveroom, and it's literally a poison engine. It's literally a car engine.
It doesn't surprise me.
And one of the main themes of the bad guys in the new one is the Team Star, is you have to fight their giant engine car, and it's literally a Pokemon, and you have to fight the car.
That is just sad, in my opinion. Like, why? Again, they found a formula. It's
the best-selling franchise of all time, Nate.
I respect the hustle that they're putting out, but how? How can you just put out some of them such garbage, literally garbage Pokemon?
But yeah, that's my number one pick. I don't really got much else to say besides I love Pokemon. I'll never stop loving Pokemon.
All right, so I don't know if this is the one they were talking about, but it looks like it. Pokemon Conquest.
Oh, that is a game. I totally forgot about that.
Nintendo DS, it looks like.
Yeah. I never played those. Like I said, a lot of the handheld spin-off games I never got to play. There's a Pokemon game that you actually might like on the Switch, since now that you have a Switch. It's Pokken Tournament. It's a Pokemon fighting game.
Okay. Yeah, I've played it with you, I think.
Yeah. It's the remastered versions on the Switch.
Yeah. I think I preferred Stadium.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're a child of the 90s, of course you prefer Stadium.
But
Stadium had all those great mini games like, the Magic Cart Flop.
Yeah. man, the 90s are just so good. No.
Right?
Yeah. I respect the hustle of Pokemon.
Nate, what will it
Congrats.
take for me to get you back into Pokemon? What can I do to get? Dude, you have a Switch. You can get Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, and now we can play online together, multiplayer. See,
Cool.
we can go around like playing Pokemon together.
Counterpoint. We just play Fortnite together.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but Pokemon,
You got your weeklies to get done,
Hey,
Raistlin,
Pokemon's
okay?
not in Fortnite yet, so if they added like Incineroar as somebody or something like that,
So Fortnite has been working on Creative 2.0, which is supposed to make it to where you can create your own content and skins for Fortnite. Someone used that beta engine to create a Pokemon world.
hell yeah, that's the man I need to follow on social media.
Uh, Obviously, that could not be like recognized as a Pokemon world due
This
to
is this is
copyright
Packy
laws.
Man.
Yeah, but it had like one of the main images was Lapidus or whatever.
Lapras,
Lapras.
really,
They had,
really nailing your Pokemon knowledge
look,
there.
I am an old man mentally and don't remember all of the Pokemon.
You over
like
there
that.
playing Pokemans?
I remember like my favorite Pokemon, which is Squirtle and Cubone. Okay, that's it.
Oh geez,
Yeah,
I
the
can't say
OG.
much. My favorite Pokemon is Ghastly, who is an OG Pokemon. It's even in my logo.
Yeah, which I always thought Sharpedo was your favorite.
It's the one I have a tattoo of, yes,
Yeah.
but I have always appreciated Ghastly. It's just
Okay, there's
so-
a difference between favorite and appreciation.
No,
Raistlin.
Ghastly's my favorite Pokemon because he's so
Like,
cute.
I appreciate Alakazam. He's rocking the hypnotism, but he's
I
not
got
my
the
favorite.
Sharpedo. I got the Sharpedo tattoo because I love the idea. So on my tattoo, it is Sharpedo, who is a shark Pokemon. And if you played Sun and Moon, you would know, Nate.
I think I think I own that game actually. Yeah.
Yeah. In the games, you get riding Pokemon, and one of the riding Pokemon you get to ride around in is Sharpedo on the water, and it's just amazing that you get to just be this little Sharpedo that's blasting through the water, and I love that idea so much that I got a tattoo of Sharpedo with a Pikachu riding on the back, running through the water. I love that idea.
What you should have had was him with Ghastly on it.
I should have, but I didn't because I am an impulsive person and was like, I like this, get a tattoo.
That is very true. You are very impulsive.
So yeah, that is my number one. So you got anything else to say about Pokemon?
No, not really.
All right. We actually got some comments on our Facebook page and on Discord.
I'll read the Discord one if you want to read the Facebook
All right,
one.
I've got it pulled up right now. We got someone named James who said there are a few given ones, like talking about franchises, a few given ones like GTA and Pokemon, but at least the first three Saints Row games were pretty solid.
Okay.
So you have another guy who likes Saints Row.
Hells yeah. Saints Row, like, it is your fallback if you prefer humor over dark and gritty. While that is what GTA is. It just difference of humor, in my opinion. That's pretty much the only thing. Also character customization. GTA Online, I believe, has insane amounts of customization, but Saints Row, just the base game customization.
Yeah, I think I played Saints Row 2, and that's the only one I've ever played. Oh, I did try to play Saints Row 4, and I bailed out pretty quick.
Yeah, Saints Row 2 is like, I think, the perfect blend between what they were going from Saints Row 1 to Saints Row 3. Saints Row 3 is when they just are like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to lean right into the insanity of our franchise. Saints Row 2 is like, we're going to lean into our insanity, but we're still going to have like reasonable like understanding of what the world is.
Yeah.
After that, they're just like, we're going to have zombies, robots, superpowers, the Matrix, fuck it. We're going to throw everything in this. we're just gonna have fun. Fuck it all.
So you said we had a Discord comment?
We did from our resident fan Ty. His comment is probably his favorites would be one Final Fantasy. Completely understandable. That is a great franchise. I have only played, I believe, 8 and 10, so I don't know about the rest of them.
I've played. We've talked on the channel about.
Yeah.
My controversial pick for my favorite one is 15.
His second favorite franchise would be Zelda.
Which,
yes.
But I know, knowing Ty, he is a fan of old school Zelda more than anything. He likes Link to the Past and a lot of the Game Boy ones and the NES ones. He likes those types. Well, I know. He's told me in the past that I think Link to the Past is his favorite Zelda game.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts, number 3.
Yeah! Woo! Not a muddled storyline at all.
Not at all. The timeline looks perfectly normal. Number 4, Resident Evil.
The one franchise I have no interest in getting into.
I can completely understand this. Ty is a massive horror buff. Yeah. And Resident Evil is like the granddaddy of horror video games.
I'm one of the few minorities, there seems to be a pattern there, that I really enjoyed the Resident Evil movies, but not the games.
No, I'm with you. I enjoyed the movies. I've never really played the game, so I don't know if I've
played one of them, and it was the one on the Wii, so who knows how good that was actually compared to the other ones.
I think I played a little bit of one of the Resident Evil games, and it took place, I believe, in Africa.
Oh, mine was in a mansion.
I was like, okay, it's a shooter, and then I found out that it apparently was like the least liked Resident Evil game.
Yeah, mine was on the Wii, so it was a motion control Resident Evil game. So it was also one of the most least. Like, I remember they had like little zombie bat thingies coming at you, and you had to like shake the remote to make like your knife slice them.
As much as I hate like the idea of us doing a video, if we could get a clip of what you just did during your shake motion, that would be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thumbnail.
So what's his number 5?
His number 5 is Mario, maybe? He put a question mark. Yeah, he put a question mark after that. So maybe Mario. I would actually say yes. I do believe that would be his favorite because he is, in my opinion, a badass at Mario. I don't think he considers himself a badass at Mario, but I think he's really, really good at it. So I think that would be his number 5.
Awesome. Well, that's it for all the comments we got. If you enjoyed the podcast, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry this was kind of a longer podcast than normal, but we had a lot to talk about. If you're interested in any more content, you could check out the links below, which has all the other links to the accounts. If you're interested, please think about liking and subscribing if you're on YouTube. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.